Hello and welcome to Aurora Northeast Academy. Uh, as for the latest news, US and Israel has claimed and later Iran has also confirmed that its supreme leader Ali Khamenei is no more. So we have seen in the last 1 or 2 days that the West Asia was sitting at the top of a volcano. The situation was very volatile, and this crisis, geopolitical crisis, culminated in the assassination of the supreme leader of Islamic Republic of Iran. So we will dig deeper and delve into the historical background that created the rivalry between Iran and Israel. Obviously, the United States has a great role in this crisis, in escalating the crisis, as well as at times in bringing the volatile situation under control. We will look into it, the historical process, the development, the agreement signed to bring the crisis under control, and later how the things, as the things didn't work out, the agreements were abandoned, leading to the 2023 Hamas attack on Israel, then the Israeli assault on Gaza, the 2025 drone and missile warfare, and finally the assassination of the supreme leader of Iran. Let's get started. See, decoding the 2026 Iran-Israel war. The Middle East, as the United States imagines, or West Asia, as far as the convenience of India is concerned, has always been a battleground for regional dominance. Many accords were signed, for example, the Oslo Accord, for example, the Abraham Accord, to bring stability in the region, but things never worked out. So in the map, you can see that Israel and Iran do not share geographical boundary. Still, the rivalry between the two is exemplary. It stands out amongst all the rivalries, geopolitical rivalries and tensions. What lies at the root of this crisis, we have to understand it. We have to go back to the 1970s. So you'll be surprised to know that there was a time when Iran and Israel were secretly negotiating for an agreement, missile agreement. In 1977, Iran was yet to see the Islamic Revolution. Or at that critical juncture of history, the two nations had friendly ties. Israel and Iran were negotiating for something that would benefit both of them. But then, all of a sudden, there came a watershed moment in the history of Iran. The regime friendly to Israel and the United States was toppled, and an Islamic regime came into being under the leadership of Ayatollah Khomeini. So let's look at it in detail. In 1977, the Shah of Iran was actively and secretly negotiating missile deals with Israel. The nations then functioned as strategic partners. It is truly ironic. And fast forward to 2026, we see direct onslaught, direct military confrontation between the two states, and a battle, a fight, competition for regional dominance. Now, the core question that we can ask is it only about nuclear weaponization, that Iran is pursuing? Is it about Hamas and the proxy network that Iran has created to deter Israel? Or is it a broader framework of regime change that Israel wants to bring and US in Iran? So let's proceed. That's what you can see in 1979. The Islamic Revolution radically redefined Iran's geopolitical identity. Look at this. Ayatollah Khomeini overthrows the Shah, establishing the Islamic Republic. This was the watershed moment. This was the moment that changed everything for Iran. Iran came up with a new doctrine that and declared that the United States is the greater Saturn, the state of Israel is the little Saturn, and also declared that liberation of Jerusalem would be its ultimate objective. So these are the moments, defining moments in Iran-Israel relation, and the beginning. We can see the beginning of hostility between the two states. Now, what's interesting, we have to understand, is Iran avoided direct conflict. As I have told you earlier in the beginning of the video, that there is no direct geographical border between Iran and the state of Israel. So the strategy adopted by Iran was very unique. Instead of directly confronting Israel, it started to develop a vast network of proxies in the form of non-state actors. You can see Hezbollah in Lebanon. We can see support for the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria. We can see Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Palestine, and Shia militias were supported in Iraq. So this is termed by international relations experts as a forward defense strategy of Tehran. So the central concept was, instead of directly fighting Israel, it built and funded a regional militia network to project power outward. Look at it. The Shia crescent created a geographic ring of encirclement around Israel. Be it Hamas, Hezbollah, or Shia militias in Iraq, it tried to encircle Israel even without directly confronting the regime. So it's a very unique strategy adopted by the regime in Iran. So you can see by the early 2000s, Iranian influence stretched seamlessly across four key regional capitals from Israel's. Now the threat for Israel is the contiguous zone of hostile non-state actors represented total geographical encirclement. Meanwhile, Iran also started its nuclear program due to the initiative of the then US President Barack Obama. The two nations could sit on negotiating table and signed the JCPOA, or the Iran nuclear deal. Iran was given relaxation in US sanctions in response to Iran agreeing to limit or halt its nuclear enrichment or nuclear program. So this is the famous 2015 nuclear agreement, or the JCPOA agreement, signed under President Obama. So you can see it limited Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. But when Donald Trump succeeded Obama, he scrapped the JCPOA, the guiding agreement that tried to bring about stability and normalize the relations between Iran and the US, the JCPOA was abandoned and sanctions reimposed. Iran also defied the threat and declared that it would go on with uranium enrichment. So this fallout, I think, was the flashpoint that would ignite the future crisis in the region. Coming to the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. So the immediate goal, in order to counter Hamas's attack, which resulted in killings of innocent Israeli lives, Israel countered its immediate counterattack. Its immediate goal was to destroy Hamas and rescue the hostages. But the larger opportunity that the Israeli leaders saw was permanently dismantle the network of proxies that Iran was operating. Meanwhile, we've also seen the dismantling of the Assad's regime in Syria. So Iran was on a weak foot. This is incorrectly mentioned. The June 2025 flashpoint. We have seen attacks and counterattacks, drones and missile attacks, and instead of normalizing things, instead of restoring peace in Gaza, which the Israeli authorities, in order to avenge the October 7 attack, decided full-blown war on Gaza, leading to killing of thousands and thousands of Palestinians. In 2025, things further escalated. We have seen attacks, counterattacks, but after 12 days, things were under control, thankfully. But it was not to normalize for a longer time. Things would worsen, geopolitical tensions would further worsen the situation. Let's see that the set of the indirect US-Iran talks were scheduled. But 2 days before the negotiation, Israel launched direct attack, airstrikes on Iran. The United States joined the offensive. In retaliation, Iran responded with extensive ballistic missile barrages. A ceasefire was declared after 12 days, but a lot of damages had already been done. See, we have to understand that the conflict is no longer a nuclear dispute. Nuclear dispute is now relegated to the background. Main issue is about establishing balance of power in West Asia. Israel's demand is total strategic rollback. Iran should dismantle its nuclear facilities, halt all missile production, and seize all support to militias and proxies in the region. On the other hand, Iran is willing to negotiate on the nuclear front, but refuses any negotiation on its regional influence or proxy networks. So things are getting very complicated. I don't know how things would proceed from now on after the assassination of the supreme leader. There is a transitional government at place which is looking into the matter, but peace right now seems elusive, and the Middle East continues to be a flashpoint. And we're almost at the end. The Israel and the United States are actively maneuvering towards a regime change, as we have seen and confirmed by today's news that the supreme leader is no more. What the US has done in Venezuela, in Maduro, it tries to emulate the process here in Iran as well. Let's see whether US strategy and Israel's strategy is successful in Iran, or Iran bounces back and retaliates. It's a matter of time. We'll get something or the other in the coming days, and the picture will be clear. See, the pressure campaign, as we have seen, a combination of internal protests in Iran. So US tried to support the protesters. It declared that the protesters should take the government in their own hands. The Iranian regime was labeled as an evil regime, and the US gave support and full support to the protesters to topple the government. But it didn't happen. Obviously, Iran retaliated. The protest was quelled, and things look like going to normalcy. But again, geopolitics and international relations is an arena of chaos and uncertainty. Right now, for Iran, it's a battle of survival. For Israel, it's an opportunity to reshape the regional geopolitics and unipolar security order led by Tel Aviv and backed by Washington in West Asia. Coming to India, we have to mention these things in your mains answer. So, how these tensions impact India and India's interest? First of all, security interest. India is getting closer to Israel as far as its defense ties, security ties is concerned. We are in talks with Israel regarding iron beam, micro irrigation, advanced warfare, etc. On the other hand, India's dilemma lies in energy security. India is heavily dependent on West Asia for its oil and energy security. Again, the diaspora is also a big issue for India. The West Asian diaspora sends back a huge chunk of remittance to India, and safety and security of Indian diaspora is a cause of concern for India. Also, maintaining strategic autonomy. India, as we have seen, has been pressurized by USA, but it tried to maintain strategic autonomy as far as possible. But at times, things get out of hand. So it's a matter of concern. We have to wait and watch how India navigates the seas of turbulent times in West Asia. So these are the things that you might be asked in your GS paper 2. It might be a matter of India's foreign policy, the geopolitics in West Asia, nuclear non-proliferation, role of non-state actors in GS paper 3. It can be a topic of internal security, proxy warfare. In essay, you can be asked about power politics and international law, nuclear deterrence and global instability, regime change interventions. After Venezuela and then in Iran, this might be an essay topic. See, it didn't start overnight. We have traced the history from 1979 to the proxy wars to nuclear distrust to Hamas attack October 7 to 2026 direct escalation. The things are just going out of control. It's definitely the culmination of ideological hostility, regional encirclement, and failed diplomacy. Final question is, will diplomatic frameworks prevail, or is West Asia entering a prolonged, irreversible era of regional militarization? So that's all for today in our foreign policy analysis. Keep watching Aurora Northeast Academy for further updates. Thank you.